Welcome to the first H1Z1 Invitational Challenge Qualifier. Who's ready for some H1Z1? Are you ready? Now this is just one of 7 qualifiers total, and the first of 5 taking place today. Before we get into that Invitational and today's matches, let's take a quick refresh, a trip down memory lane to explain exactly what H1Z1 is for those of you who aren't familiar.
H1Z1, a fast-paced, action-packed, single-elimination, massive arena shooter. Each match begins with up to 150 players dropping into the arena across a 100 square kilometer map. You start the game with nothing, so once your feet hit the ground, be ready to grab weapons, gear, and vehicles as you get into the action. Watch out, because as the match progresses, a toxic green gas begins creeping into the arena, pushing everybody towards the safe zone. You can survive the gas for a short time, but the longer the match goes, the deadlier it becomes. And if the gas doesn't kill you, there are 149 other players trying to. So play it smart and make every shot count, because only the last person standing will claim victory, and then the whole battle begins again.
And now that you know what H1Z1 is all about, let's take a look at what you can expect to see on this glorious day 1 of the H1Z1 Invitational. Cheat sheet, overview of how Challengers is going to work. We've got 7 qualifiers with 5 today, as I mentioned earlier, and 2 coming up tomorrow. 1 match, top 10 for each advance to the finals. Last 5 seats are already won by the Challenge Accepted contest with 2 seats, and the Road to TwitchCon contest winners who we had on stage who take the other 3 seats. And the finals will be 3 matches with a kill bounty and a $50,000 prize pool. Exactly, right? That I cannot win because I have to talk and not play, which saddens me. Attendees got in today for the Challengers on a first-come, first-served basis, so if you're one of the lucky few waited in line long enough, you're up, you're playing, and you can win 50 grand, so good luck for that. So let's get to it. Richard Campbell will be casting the first 2 matches with special guest Ariel Squiggle Poof Noel. Rich, take it away. That's not Ariel.
So much, ready to kick this one off, and I have none other with me than Supersonic back in the seat. We haven't gotten to do this since DreamHack. We don't have 1, we don't have 2, but we have 3 tournaments to get through, and we're going to be kicking it off with Challengers.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, as you said, since DreamHack, I mean, a little bit of an upgrade since DreamHack. It's going to be an awesome tournament this weekend. We do have 3 different tournaments, Challengers, All-Stars, and that Legends tournament. So a bunch of people are going to compete for up to, I believe, $500,000.
I mean, a little bit of an upgrade, that's definitely for sure. Looking out at all these beautiful faces right now, ready to get this one started. And we have 75 players in chairs right now, ready to jump into the first game of the day. And for this tournament, we are going to have $50,000 on the line with a kill bonus. We're going to go through quite a few matches today, I believe 5, each of them going to have 75 players. The top 10 from each of those matches will then go on to Sunday to compete for that prize pool.
Yeah, absolutely. They'll be back on Sunday at 3 p.m. to compete for $50,000 on Sunday. So even though this is kind of a lineup to get an event, we still got a lot of top players that are going to be here that weren't in that Legends invite that are going to be playing in these qualifiers. So we're going to see a lot of top play still here today and through these qualifiers going in to qualify for Sunday.
Yeah, I think that's definitely a big thing to note, right? Obviously, we're going to have some new faces here, some people who just queued up in line, some TwitchCon attendees, maybe some streamers who don't necessarily play H1Z1, but anyone who didn't get that invite, who isn't going to be either at the All-Stars or going to be at the Legends tournament, which we'll see on Saturday and Sunday, they can queue up, they can get into the line. So we're going to have some fierce competition here as well. But before we actually jump into the game, one of those things that we like to do is actually cover our bases for all the new viewers who are coming in here, talk a little bit about how H1Z1 is going to play out. And the first thing you should definitely know, all of these players going to be falling onto the map with absolutely nothing. So that first phase we're going to see in that early game, definitely going to be a scavenging phase.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So the game plays out in roughly 3 phases. You've got your phase 1, that scavenging phase, finding your loot as you drop in. You got phase 2 where they're trying to kind of figure out where the safe zone's going to be, where is the best place on the map for me to get to hold my position, and hold out for that end game where basically the powder keg explodes and all these guys just go off and you're going to see it go from 65 to none real quick. So that final phase is just absolutely awesome to watch live.
Yeah, it's one of the best parts, not going to lie. And we've seen some pretty crazy things go down at the last tournament we were at as well, seeing Teaksy just mow down 8 people out of nowhere. So hoping to see some of that come out, maybe out of a new face as well. Actually get to see one of these new players. The other thing that we should talk about, though, before we actually do jump into this game is some of the changes. Let's say people are only following that tournament scene. Maybe they haven't watched since DreamHack, haven't gotten a chance to play as much. Quite a few things have actually been updated and changed within the game.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we've had changes, combat patches come out that's changed the way that some of the recoil systems work on the guns. AR that used to be the left-right kick on it is now a vertical recoil. We have changes, no more gas cans in vehicles. They actually find them in airdrops or at gas stations. So players, it's a little bit harder to hoard gas and just drive around the whole time. You do have to take fights to get a new vehicle, other things of that nature. So, and we're going to see a lot of upgrades to the Spectate Cam this weekend, too. So there's new versus mode. We'll be able to see who that player is actually fighting at that time at the bottom of the screens. People will catch on and notice that, but it's going to show the weapon that they have and what damage, if they have a helmet on, armor. There'll be a ton of new information with the new Spectate tools.
Yeah, I'm really excited to actually see those Spectate tools and cast with them as well. Already starting to see some org tags as well. We saw that era tag right now, so a little bit of an indicator that we may see some of that high-level play. The other thing that I do want to note, though, when we start to talk about those changes, there's always that standard loadout. And we were talking about that standard loadout a lot when we were at DreamHack, seeing what players actually wanted to maybe have. It seems like it's changed with the way that all of these patches actually did come into effect.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, a lot of times you'd either run maybe double AR and a shotgun, AR shotgun throwable. With the speed of throwables now and the changes to the AK and the Hellfire coming in, a lot of times you're going to see these guys that are a little bit more experienced in the game. They're going to be running things like AR, AK, and a throwable to have a lot of utility. The AK really fills in a gap in that short mid, and you can really make use of it strong in short game too versus shotguns or Hellfire. So it still has a lot of close range power to just take players out.
And that was a big thing that we were talking about as well, right? When we were actually watching at DreamHack, a big thing was maybe you wouldn't actually be holding those throwables. You'd have a bunch stockpiled, but in the third slot, you'd be holding maybe an additional rifle. You'd throw that rifle out, switch that throwable into the third slot, give it a toss, and that was a pretty seamless motion. Then you just go back and pick up the rifle. Not really the case anymore. The other thing to note with the throwables, they're also going to be a little bit heavier, so maybe only holding 5 grenades, something like that.
Yeah, I mean, even 5 is still quite a bit. So the grenades definitely, they went from weighing 10 pounds to 100 pounds. So it's a 10-fold change there. So it's definitely harder to carry a ton of those. And they had to make that change due to the way the throwables throw so quickly now. But that's why the guys have switched from carrying double AR, shotgun, and gone AK-AR throwable. So we'll see how that plays out in these games. It's definitely going to play out a little bit different than DreamHack.
Yeah, the other thing, too, when you talk about that kick, the way that the weapons have actually changed, there are a few new strategies that we actually see with player movement. Do you think we'll actually see that at this level?
Absolutely. I mean, there's definitely players in here that are top tier that are going to be in these challenger matches that you'll see making use of some of these things. And you can see a ton of players that have been, there's probably a few there that are actually from the previous events too. So
I'm cheering for America. I just want to let everyone know right now, I am cheering for America.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Tony, who was up here before, I'm pretty sure Cardo's here somewhere cheering for America also. 100% guarantee that.
So we see a few vehicles going on the screen right now. We should know, too, they're going to be a pretty important part if you are just tuning in to what these players want to do. That Jeep going to be really good for getting up that rough terrain. We're still online now. We're going to see Impact Logan here running around. Are they allowed to wear any skins that they want here?
I believe that the game is loaded up with the full array of skins, so you do have quite a few options in there to load yourself out with. You can see he's got that skull bandana, so I'm pretty sure they've got them all turned on for him.
So now we can actually take a look at the players before we start up this first match. Take a peek at what they're wearing, and, I mean, you got to skin it to win it. I mean, Flamehopper taught me that, so we can take a peek right now and actually see who's going to do the best.
Yeah, I mean, we've got a ton of players in here. We've got Triv wearing his trademark sock head there. Always wearing the white one. Always had it. He's been doing that since Z1, so Triv rocking the same outfit forever here.
Those pants kind of look like the suit jacket that I'm going to wear tomorrow, and they also look oddly similar to my grandmother's wallpaper. So liking Triv's loadout quite a bit here.
Yeah, it's a pretty solid one. So Triv actually just...
Yeah. I'm like absolutely loving getting to take that peek at everyone right now, but let's just reiterate everything that is going on with the qualifiers in general, Jason.
Yeah, so the qualifiers, we've got 75 players playing. We're going to go through 7 games over today and 2 games into tomorrow. So we have 5 today, 2 tomorrow. Top 10 players from these matches will advance to Sunday to join the Road to TwitchCon winners in the final on Sunday at 3 p.m. So we're going to have 10 players from every game. So when you get down to that like 11 mark on the bubble, that's where the tension gets, and you're just trying to wait it out. You don't want to be the guy that goes out in 11th.
Yeah, I mean, so one of the big things is yesterday we got to kind of come in, get to test everything out, have some fun, and one of the guys who's going to be casting with us a little bit later in the day is Mighty Mouse, and we were really like kind of joking around about, he was joking around about you want to be first place absolutely every single time, but here really if you can make that top 10, that's an impressive enough finish, and then you can just go into Sunday and actually play for that prize money. But once you get there, placing going to be absolutely everything.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and still wanting to make that top 10 placement, though, to get into the money still. So, I mean, that top 10 is going to be a common theme throughout the entire weekend. We're going to see that also play out in All-Stars. You're going to want to average out and land in that 10 spot or higher. You're going to want to do that in Legends. So that right when we get down to that like 15 player mark is where things start getting a lot of tension.
Yeah, the cool thing is too is we can really start to talk about different things when we look at Legends, when we look at the All-Stars, can kind of make predictions who we think is going to be playing well. We've watched them all before, but one of the reasons why today is going to be so exciting when we actually do get to watch these challengers, we have no idea. We have no idea. Like, we're up here, we're supposed to be experts, but hey, I'm going to be completely honest. I have no idea what's going to go down today. We're going to see a bunch of new faces, and the question is, are these seasoned veterans that we do see surrounding us right now in the arena, there are quite a few of them even in this first game, are we just going to have someone come out of the woodwork right now? You were talking about it earlier today that you really think that there are a lot of players who might not necessarily get their big break, get their chance to shine, be up on that main stage. This gives a huge opportunity at TwitchCon for players to do just that, to break through. Yeah,
I mean, to be able to show up at a LAN event where you're no longer playing at your home environment, you're not playing on your own equipment, you're here playing in an arena, lights going off, everything. To be able to show up on LAN is really big, and that'll definitely make a name for you.
Yeah, I think this is even different than really what we saw at DreamHack, right? When we were at DreamHack and we actually took a look at that arena, you kind of were a little isolated as a player. There was a big box. Obviously, it was loud. Like, there was a lot going on. But in this particular arena, there's classic stadium seating. The fans are looking right at you, and you're just there. You are completely exposed.
Yeah, it's a completely different environment. You're very much not used to being on Twitch at home. There's nobody in the room standing there watching you. You put a bunch of people in a room, they're standing right in front of you. It's a much different feel and environment, and something that you got to be able to go ahead and adapt to and get used to. If you're not comfortable with it, it can cause disaster for you.
Yeah, and there aren't many opportunities to make those mistakes. Even getting a top 10 finish here, it does seem like it's going to be a little bit easier, than like having to get that first place finish. But a top 10 with 75 players in each map, it's going to be a big deal.
Yeah, I mean, top 10, and I'm waiting to see if we see anybody go off. I mean, last year we saw Isco at TwitchCon. I know you weren't there for that one, but during the qualifiers, he made it in, ended up making in the money in the finals, but he absolutely went off in game one of the qualifiers. So I'm hoping to see if somebody can maybe step up to that same level as Isco as last year and give us a bit of a show.
Are you seeing what I'm seeing? Here is that break. We're going to kick things off TwitchCon, starting off with game number 1. Jason, what do you see with this break?
Right here, I mean, it's the new updates with the combat patch gives us a little bit wider spread, so it's going to be a little hard to go ahead and guess where that safe zone is going to be based off the spread. It looks like it's fairly centralized, though. I'll go ahead and take a swing at it, though, and call just north of Runamuck Lake.
Hey, you know what I'm going to call? It's going to be PV every single time. And now we are going to jump right on with Triv, plummeting on down. And we are going to have to see how quick he can get kitted up. Going to be running into the building right now. And it looks like he should be able to get some stuff very quickly into his bag.
Yeah, he's got a decent amount of loot there. He's got a shotgun. It looks like he's going to have an AK for a little bit of range. He's got everything he needs to at least take an initial fight if somebody is there with him. That's what you're looking for. You want an AR or a close range weapon, depending on where you're at. And early, we've got an elimination going on to Roach Gang Codex coming at the hands of Dadbod TV.
Oh, man,
so that's
going
down
to be the first Dadbod nice and early. We're going to be jumping on with Dadbod from Set to Destroy X. And what do you actually see as far as his kit?
Right now, he definitely needs to find himself a helmet. He's a little bit gonna need. We're still very early, but he's gonna need to get a helmet. He needs another long-range weapon. That SMG is really not gonna get it done in any kind of ranged fight. He's got all the close range he needs. He's got shotgun, SMG. It looks like he's gonna have an AR there right ahead of him though, so he should be all right. He just needs to get himself some headgear because a single shot will take you out if you don't have that helmet on.
Yeah, I think the big thing to be looking for right now is if he is going to be able to find that helmet. Already has made himself somewhat exposed by having that initial fight. If anyone else is close to him, that could spell disaster if they know where he's at. Now jumping on with Tim. He is moving around. He's in a very residential area here, starting to find some decent loot. How do you feel it fares for him being in that residential area to start things off?
Residentials can be decent starts as long as you get a decent amount of loot off the start. Sometimes it can be a little light on loot. They have done a recent change though, and there is more loot in the residentials, so it's a decent start, but there's a lot of spots for people to kind of hide and outmaneuver and outflank you, so it can be a lot pretty dangerous and not able to tell where everybody is.
Yeah, especially if someone gets something like a truck early on and they can just kind of move through these fences or something like that. But we already did mention that gas is going to be really important here. You're not going to have those gas cans auto-spawning inside of the cars. So it's going to be a very valuable resource when we actually do see that first airdrop come in. And now we are going to see that that first ring is going to be revealed very shortly here.
Yeah, Rex getting himself a hit into the makeshift there of the other player. So gets one tag. Not too much damage done there, just kind of letting him know that he's there. Actually hits him in the 2-hit, takes it down to 1 shot, so Hot Dog taking a shot to the chest.
Yeah, it's pretty cool to actually see with this new spectator. You can actually keep an eye on what's going down with the armor, and you can actually see right now, reaping benefits, going to have that helmet equipped right now.
Yeah, he's going to have that. One of the other changes that we're going to see here is if we end up with any city finishes, is there's been some changes to the footwear in the game. So boots now reduce a ton of fall damage. So you can see some players maybe play the top of a roof, and where they typically couldn't get out of there because they would take too much damage from the jump. You can see guys kind of Batman off roofs now and make some cool plays, and we'll see if that ends up playing into it at all this weekend.
And we did see reaping benefits swinging on over another player, getting inside of that cop car. It looks like he did find out his location, but didn't want to contest there, didn't want to start a fight this early. Right now we are jumping on with that player. He is moving around here, and it seems like he is relatively kitted. He does want to get some body armor here. Now we see that cop car swinging on by. Quite a few vehicles starting off here, and now we are going to take our first look at that safe zone coming out.
I was kind of right. I mean, it's north of Runamuck Lake. It wasn't directly north, but that's fairly close. I'm going to count that as a win for me.
Hey, man, you're actually pretty good at guessing those safe zones, and now we can see that there are quite a few people looking mainly at Senshu who have a big pilgrimage ahead of them to actually rotate into that safe zone. Now it is going to be Frankie jumping into that Jeep.
Yeah, Frankie can have the Jeep. Easy to kind of get through and up and down these mountains here. He'll be all right. Frankie, a player that's been around forever, Senshu as well, as you were talking about. Love the guy. Helps me run some of the online tournaments, so he's been in the community forever.
We're actually seeing a lot of names here that are familiar to us too in this first game. I feel like a lot of the people who've been in the community for a long time didn't want to miss their opportunity to get in and get things started. Probably got in that line very early. It is first come, first serve to actually get into this Challenger Series. So I feel like a lot of those players got here early. Now we are going to jump on with a fight, and it is going to be Boss taking quite a bit of damage. He is down to 54%. He still does have that helmet though. He's going to rain out some shots into Impact Logan. Impact Logan, even though he did have the upper hand in that fight, going to retreat slightly now into solid cover. May let a few more shots rain out, but I don't think he's going to get too aggressive here. We can see a few more ringing out here, but Boss should be able to just rotate away without a problem inside of his truck.
Yeah, Logan doesn't want to get into a close range fight and coin flip that to a shotgun or a Hellfire battle. He definitely just wants to kind of eat away. You saw him throw a couple more shots at that vehicle. He's just trying to eat away at resources, and this game at the end plays out as a attrition battle, and it can be really rough if you don't have anything left. Taking away helmets, taking away makeshifts, taking away vehicles and maneuverability from players, and forcing them into other fights with other players is typically something you want to do to secure yourself later. You're only trying to get to the top 10 to make it to Sunday right now.
Yeah, and that was something we talked about a lot in Fives too, the war of attrition that actually does play out. Today going to be all solos. The big thing is, though, is every time you actually do get into one of those engagements, you are just taking something away. And like you said, that can put people in positions where they have to take bad fights, and all of a sudden, even though maybe you didn't get the kill, we talk about kills being a really important thing with different things like kill bounties and kill bonuses and things like that. But when you're just going for placement, when the prize money is a little bit down the line, it doesn't matter if you're the flashy one who actually gets to put that kill up on the board. All that matters is you're putting players in positions where they take bad fights and they end up getting eliminated, putting yourself that much closer to your goal.
Yeah, your map awareness plays into it really big. Being able to force those fights is definitely a way to secure yourself farther in the match. You don't have to get the kill to win. You need to try and out-survive. So just slowly taking away, take quick hops, maybe get a quick shot in or two, just wear them down and let them go fight somebody else and you make it into that top 10.
Now you are looking right now at this airdrop, and one of the big things to note is this is always a focal point for fights. Some serious shots getting put into Koala here, a few more ricocheting off of that cop car, going to run out of here without a problem. But he is in somewhat of a bad position. He's relatively in the open, and we can see he's in prime position to get pinched. Far off is going to be Shu. Oh, now we're actually going to get a chance to look at the loot that is inside of that air supply.
Yeah, so we're going to have a waist pack, which is something that you don't always find, so having a waist pack is always in those. Worth it, gives you a little bit extra. And Trushu gonna go down to Legend Slays here after taking that initial fight with Koala Bear. So he was still missing a little bit of health from that initial fight, and Legend Slays comes in and gets himself a kill and a little bit of loot.
I do want to note as well, we did already talk about it a little bit, and we're seeing quite a few players already inside of vehicles. Oh, wow, Legend Slay's getting really aggressive here after already finding that kill. It looks like he is in hot pursuit of Lasius, but there was a gas can inside of that drop. So that could be a little bit important later on. You've already talked about it. It is a much more valuable resource in this current patch. And still, Legend Slays being aggressive here. He does see the man behind the rock. Will he decide to take this fight? Jumping on out, going to let a few shots go out. And we are going to see that Legend Slays is going to be the one to take some initial damage going on. He does get that shot into Sam, wins a lot, gets a shot into his armor, but still going to have one shot there on the body.
Yeah, so Smoke Nade's also something that has changed recently. And Koala Bear now getting a kill onto Boston Tom. Hurts a little bit. Boston Tom, one of my mods. Feels bad, man, to lose him.
You're hyping that up pretty early here.
But one of the changes are in these hit markers, or the smoke nades, is that the smoke nades are now changed. As you saw that come out, you can't see through that anymore. You used to be able to kind of spot people through it. Smoke nades are much more effective with this most recent update.
And we already saw how important they were too when they weren't quite as thick, when they were more visible to see through. Legend Slays has just been so aggressive throughout all of this. We are going to see we only have 70 players left here, and we should be really seeing that gas spread a little bit more rapidly soon as we do move into the game. We're pretty far along in the early game, kind of wrapping up here, moving into that mid game. Hot Dog going to put a kill on the board for himself, and now Bros for Life jumping on with him, and he finds himself in a skirmish at this gas station. This is a really good location to be in to try to get some of those gas tanks so you can maybe have that vehicle a little bit later on, but he is pinned in here by T-Rex. T-Rex, though, retreating just a little bit, doesn't want to be the first one to get into that fight there. Tainted Laurel now looking for a fight of his own. I was talking to Tainted Laurel a little bit earlier last night about just how early he thought he was going to have to get in line to be in this competition. It looks like he did make it here nice and early.
Yeah, he was, and tired probably. I mean, coming up all the way from Australia, so he made a long journey up here. But Legend Slays in a fight again. We're seeing Legend Slays in fights over and over again, and players are playing a lot more aggressive than we're most likely used to seeing this early. Typically, you're trying to get that placement to be able to play again. Triv now taking shots in the back, I believe, from Koala Bear, but he is going to body out Legend Slays. Legend Slays is going to go down to that SMG fire from Triv.
Yeah, Legend Slays was really aggressive there. We saw that helmet get popped up early, and then you get yourself in a position where it's very easy to have a pinch come in. Smoke going to go out there. Triv going to try to get healthy. Now jumping on into another fight. It is guns blazing right now. Boss looking to get some shots into T-Rex. Hits one, or actually, no, we actually see him jump into the cop car. Card Shark going to take down someone in the wings right now. We didn't actually get to see that kill, but it looks like there may be another one coming in for you guys right now.
Yeah, Boscarvelli trying to find T-Rex in that car. T-Rex using the car repeatedly to try and get Boss to go ahead and peek out so that he can try and get a shot on him, but he's not staying out long enough to take the fight, and instead he's just eating away at the vehicle. So he's going to go ahead and get out of there knowing that he needs to keep that vehicle alive for a little bit longer. As that car deteriorates, it loses handling, it starts losing its boost, it loses a lot of things till it hits about 20%, where it then catches on fire and becomes a living bomb that you no longer want to be in. So he needed to get out of there. realized he wasn't going to get the fight he wanted and takes off.
And we are actually going to see this gas collapsing right now. And as the ring actually does get tighter here, Supersonic, what are you predicting for that final fight?
As we're starting to get to these circles, they begin to start centering upon themselves more and more. So we're going to see it probably end up over that small lake there towards the end, which can be a really electric ending, but also very stressful because there's not a lot of cover once you get into the open water. There's nothing there to really save you.
We're going to have to see if another slang legend pops up out of that. You know, you're in that open area. You start to be able to get some pinches. You can also get really cheeky with the way that you move around, get a lot of kills very quickly. But now we are on board with I Am Pain. And we can see with this new Versus feature in the Spectator, he is hot in pursuit on Awaken TV.
Yeah, it looks like he that would have been the person that he contacts. So this new system functions off of if a player takes a shot and hits another one, it'll basically recognize that they're fighting each other. So in a second here, as Party Girl got into the car that I Am Pain was shooting at, it registers that they are now in an engagement, and that's going to give us all the information on those two players so that we can see exactly what's going on as it happens.
Yeah, and you can see all it takes is that one shot to actually have it pop up. I Am Party Girl actually deciding to move away just a little bit there, not necessarily accepting that fight. Now Joe Man moving around this gas. It looks like he's got some very serious, it looks like he's kitted up relatively well. He is actually going to put on that armor there as we do jump onto Era Inc.
Yeah. Inc, the manager for Team Era, so he's just going to hang out here in this warehouse. He plays quite a bit, though. He's definitely a decent player. Joe Man just stalking him outside, though, just waiting for him to try and get into that vehicle as he lays down behind this rock.
Yeah, so it looks like Joe Man doesn't actually have the body armor on right now.
No, Joe Man does not have a body armor on.
So that is going to be a little bit suspect going into a fight early, definitely trying to stalk, maybe trying to get that before he does have to take the engagements. We are going to see right now Blorn on top of the roof. And we talked about how positionally these fights can play out. You can move kind of up and down and use the shape of the roof as cover.
Yeah, the roofs work pretty well, except for in solos, you open yourself up a lot to getting shot in the back. So you have to be ready at any time to go ahead and back out. And Chronic Pudding here in a fight with White Chaos, going to lose his helmet. Chronic looks like he has decided to push this. He does have a 2-hit on. He's basically 3 shots up to the body versus White Chaos, but White Chaos turning it around on him, and he is going to drop Pudding there. Pudding getting a little aggressive and walking up. Chaos able to get some easy shots over the top as he just walks straight at him.
And Pudding seemed like really had everything going into that fight. You know, has the armor, has the helmet, goes in a little bit willy-nilly, doesn't really play the landscape very well, and not having that cover just going to be enough for White Chaos to cut Pudding down. Now 63 players do remain. It is starting to get a little bit crazy. This is the point in the game where we're really going to start seeing those kills fly, Jason.
Yeah, this next circle or two is where we're going to start seeing it kind of go off, and Nadrod Jordan here going to be able to hop out, most likely to take some shots. It looks like he's looking for it. He gets tagged once into the body by Koala. Koala now looking to play fairly aggressive, pushing it. Typically, you want to be a few more shots up if you're going to go in for this coin flip here. Koala does have an armor on, though, and he is going to step out and get that AK crouch spray down into Jordan. Jordan's going to get dropped.
And now Koala does have quite a few opportunities here. Like, the resources that you get from that engagement, yes, it was aggressive, but it seems to be a huge win for Koala right now.
It can be, but we're seeing a lot of these players that are getting these engagements over and over again. You most likely have enough to play in-game already. And we see Blorn going for a kind of a cheeky play here. So he's set up what we like to call a bio bomb. He's taking the biofuel, set it down in the road, pre-fired it, takes a few hits to go ahead and set that off, gets it down to 1 shot, and now if somebody drives by, he can shoot that and blow their vehicle up.
And one of the nice things about this as well, we're talking about Blorn's positioning, how it can be a little bit scary when you are playing solos, because yes, you do have that cover for that 1v1 fight. If someone is in front of you, going to give you a huge advantage, but you can potentially get shot in the back. Using that bio bomb maybe to his advantage here will be able to mitigate that stress that comes from being slightly exposed from using a house roof as cover.
Yeah, and I'm trying to figure out if one even knows that he's out here. I don't think R1E has any intention of taking any fights right now. But the other thing about playing these roofs is these fights usually go a little bit longer. You end up in a rooftop-to-rooftop fight, and you're fighting for a long time, just giving away your position. Eventually, somebody's going to take a shot at you.
Yeah, I wonder if they do know that they're both located just a few feet away from each other, both inside of these houses. But we're going to be jumping back on board with I Am Pain again. We've already seen a lot out of this guy a little bit earlier. We can see his vehicle starting to degrade just a little bit here.
Yeah, vehicle's down a little bit. It's out 62 though. He's still got the boost. correction, 60 as he smacks the tree. Loses a little bit more health there, but he's going to be able to get out of there. The car is pretty rugged.
Yeah, moving along right now. He is going to ride that car right into battle. Going to see quite a few people. We're going to see that kill feed lighten up right now. We're down to 55 players now on board with Hot Dog. Hot Dog letting some long-range shots ring out, and you can see Kev Kidd is going to be on the receiving end there. The vehicle now at 76%. Nothing too scary at all. And it looks like we are going to have, we haven't seen too much go down near the air supply so far. Not too much battle going around near that airdrop.
Yeah, air supplies are definitely worth it. You can get it a little bit safer with the new smoke nades as well. Not really sure, and it looks like R1E and Blorn do actually see each other now. That was kind of a weird play to go for a grenade. I mean, that would have been a Kobe and a half to get that through the window. I Am Pain gets tagged with a shotgun, goes ahead, hops in the car to get away, down to about 50% there. He does make it out though.
That was a close call as well, and we are going
But
to see
he
just
gets
like
hit by the bombs. In comes the plane. He thought he got away, and he ends up paying with his life.
Oh man, we were just talking about how we haven't seen too much going on around there, and just like that, I Am Pain runs right into it, going to be cut down by the environment.
The caster curse is real.
It is definitely real. We're jumping back on with Tainted Laurel, and I think it's undeniable that this is going to be one of those players to look out for in this first game of the day. Blorn as well, still in this position, been hanging out here for quite some time, and you can see R1E has kind of moved away. Maybe they actually did get eyes on each other. R1E moving out of that house that we saw across the street from Blorn initially.
Yeah, we got Sharky here with a pretty decent little position. You can kind of hide out in there. Nobody really has an angle. You've only got to watch one side until you're forced to move. It looks like he is going to go ahead and move out of there. He's probably just outside what the next safe zone is going to be here in the next minute, so he's going to start moving before we get the gas on him. So one of the things that we need to talk about for maybe viewers that haven't seen this game before is that as the gas comes in, it puts you into a really high pressure situation. If you are in the gas running with it, you're taking damage from it, your visibility's down, and you're having to run into the safe zone where somebody's potentially already set up. So you have to decide, is it worth it for me to go ahead and try and wait this out and run in and avoid fights and run in late with the gas? Or do I want to get there early and I want to take the guy out that's trying to get there late coming in with the gas? Typically, the advantage is going to go to the guy that's already there, but sometimes that gas play is the one you want to go for.
Yeah, how do you feel about like actually just trying to ride the gas? Like, do you think that's a valid thing that we will see a lot of players try to pull out here?
I think when you're trying to go for placement, if you know how to do it right, there's people that can do it well. It's definitely the right play if you're in the right situation, but most of the time, getting there and being able to have decent enough resources and be there early is a better situation than coming in on the gas.
And now we have already seen as this gas is advancing here, it is getting tight. 52 players remain. We are down from our initial 75, but there is not much real estate left for them. And just like that, Sharky going to see some players there, puts in those initial shots, but able to move back here. Doesn't want to take a bad fight, getting very close to that prize. We are going to see Fiston inside of that cop car, putting some shots into OG Trib. OG Trib down in this fight, going to decide to trade out that smoke grenade, going to keep him safe for now. Fist going to start to rotate around, trying to find where his man is, and now just like that, OG Trib getting maybe a little bit pinched here is going to be super low, and if we see Fiston actually able to connect, he jumps out of the car, tries to get it through the car, he is able to get it, Triv will go down, but that puts Fist in a position where he is slightly exposed. A few shots getting dumped into him there right now by NLO Poncho.
Yeah, Poncho and Sloth, as he gets away from NL Poncho, gets tagged into the vehicle by Sloth. Inc. from Era also now going down to Finnick. And we've got a shotgun battle here on this hill, and it looks like we've got Vex versus Dark Anakin. Both players kind of trading out shots here, and Vex is going to go ahead and finish that one off and get the win down to about 27% health, and the gas is coming in on him. Shots coming out from behind. It looked like we saw a couple tracers there come past him, and he's going to have to get that bleed off and get heals to start out healing the damage from both the gas and the bleed. We'll see if he ends up getting them off. It looks like he's just going to go ahead and bleed out. He may have been out of bandages or out of supplies, so he isn't end up trading out for that kill.
That was a really grim fight there, and now we are going to see only 47 players do remain. Pixie Sticks, we already saw Pixie Sticks pick up a kill a little bit early here, looking at Hot Dog. Hot Dog does have that high advantage here on the map, but Pixie Sticks looking to line up some solid shots. And we can see as this gas does come in, it is starting to matter a lot where you are positioned, because just like this, Hot Dog may have that slight advantage. Pixie Sticks moving back. Looks like there's an ATV there. Maybe Pixie Sticks tries to get onto this ATV and rotate around, but just like that, we are going to see it's DVO is going to come from behind, get some shots in a pretty even fight here, but just like that, it's DVO going to get eliminated by Pixie Sticks, but Pixie Sticks not out of the woods yet, able to put on another makeshift, but still engaged in that fight that started a little bit earlier, and now completely surrounded. Pixie Sticks will be going home.
Yeah, Pixie in a really rough spot there. Really can't get out of there on the ATV. It doesn't give you enough body coverage. You have people shooting at you from 4 different sides. So even if you do get into that vehicle to try and get away, you're driving at somebody, and you're already low. It's a really rough situation to try and play out of there. And Sharky now has one of these campers here. We saw them work out really well for a lot of players at DreamHack. So he'll be able to play it safe in there for a little bit. And Logan going to go in. I'm not sure if that was his vehicle or if he's stealing one. And Sharky now in a fight here. He's going to come out to take the fight. That is up against Diversity, and he is going to come out, get the quick kill, get back into cover, get healed up. He'll come out, probably loot that bag here in a minute or two.
Man, if you are watching from home right now, you might want to keep your eyes fixed on that left top corner of your screen, because the kill feed is about to go absolutely crazy. Gas advancing in just 7 seconds here, and we are down to 39 players because Samuel going to get Aspire down. This is just going to go absolutely nuts at this point.
Yeah, Samuel with the assist from Sam wins a lot. So 2 Sams teaming up there and taking him out.
Team Sam uniting right now. We are going to see a lot around the lake right now. We already predicted just exactly how this may play out. There are some POIs that you can get a little bit of cover from, but relatively open area to start things off. Now T-Rex hiding behind that cop car, rotating around this rock. Is he going to be able to find this fight, trying to get some shots into Ghani?
Yeah, not able to connect there. Still looking for him. T-Rex, as you can see on this new the new UI down here, he actually already has 1 kill. So that's one of the other things we didn't talk about. It's going to show the number of kills. So T-Rex has already won 1 fight so far this match. We'll see if he can get a hit in onto Ghani and see if we get to watch this one play out. And he is going to start opening up, and it looks like players are opening up into his vehicle and taking that out. So he is going to be stuck on foot. Koala Bear goes down somewhere else on the map to an explosion. J-Stone goes down to a headshot from Hot Dog 63, and I believe that's his 3rd kill of the game. So already 3 kills in for Hot Dog.
Well, we do have another airdrop coming down as well, but I predict players are going to be a little too scared to actually rotate to this one. Do you think anyone will actually try to move over there and get all of the loot that is inside?
No, with the side of the circle, it's really risky to try and make a play, and depending upon what's around it, sometimes if you have if it lands in some trees and it's close enough, might be worth it with a smoke nade, but if it lands out in the open, most likely you don't want to go in for it at the moment.
This can be one of those moments too where that war of attrition that initially happened can be very important, and we only have a few players remaining, but it is still going to be just way too tight for them as we just move in right around Salty Tier Lake.
Yeah, so it is coming down right onto that lake, and that is going to cause a lot of chaos for these guys at the end because there's so much down there that's just open water. There's not a lot of cover, so it becomes a little bit of luck there in trying to be the guy that doesn't get pinched, and it comes down to a lot of how quickly can I outgun the other people. And we can see Logan down here along this already getting shot at from behind. You can see how open this is. There is a few rocks out there, but the guys playing the outside to get that initial position are going to be in a really good spot to just go ahead and shoot fish in a barrel in the middle and take those guys out.
Yeah, Logan has a smart play there, though. He actually decides to invest that smoke, gets into his vehicle, and tries to move out, trying to find a position that maybe isn't so exposed. And just like that, we're going to be jumping on with another fight here, and we expect to see a lot of these very soon. Another smoke is going to be traded out, rotating around that truck, looking to get some lines onto Ghani. Ghani moving in, and it looks like he is going to be able to cut down, but just like that, Ghani going to be able to come back here and take down Estovers.
Yeah, barely escaping with his life, down to 6%, wins that fight right at the edge of the gas. Luckily, he's got a few seconds to go ahead and get that heal. I'm not sure if the gas circle's on his side. If it is, he might be able to sit still, but he needs to get the heals off before that gas touches him.
Now, we were watching Bjorn at the beginning, actually just pitted up on that roof, finally is forced to move due to the safe zones, and it looks like he's just didn't have to engage in that war of attrition that we talked about earlier, so he's going to have a lot of resources here in these later fights.
Yeah, one of the other things that we didn't talk about in this combat patch is that there's been a change to the way the bullet drop is. So some of these guys that had a ton of hours on the original, or the previous bullet drop are still getting adjusted. So some of these players you're going to see the really, really long range fights, they don't have that exact perfect lineup every time. Danielle Ann's really low here, trying to get out, bleeding, gas on her back. We'll see if she's able to get out of that one. Sharky gonna get down a smoke nade, trying to stay alive here, extremely low, and Danny is gonna go down, unfortunately, to that gas. We do lose her in 31st.
And do want to reiterate for anyone who is maybe just tuning in right now, this is going to be our first game of the day. It is our Challenger Series, so all of these players queued up in line to get into this tournament. The top 10 are going to be going to the finals on Sunday to play for $50,000, and just like that, we are down to 27. STDX, Dadbod getting into that fight there, able to come out on top, but still not in a safe position. We are going to see some shots coming in. Awaken going to cut down Dadbot, and just like that, Sloth going to find Mitch Gaming. Frankie also going to be inside of the kill feed. It is getting out of control, Supersonic.
Yeah, Ryan going to get down R1 with another shotgun. You're going to start seeing these close-range weapons come into more play as these guys are all going to try to be off the water and play into those cabins or play into the trees. And there's very limited space within these final safe zones for those guys to get it. T-Rex getting lit up, down to 4%. Awaken knows that he's ahead, trying to get the push. It looks like he went ahead and went for the car. T-Rex going to get taken out from behind, though, by Meowth. So Meowth's going to pick himself up a kill. Awaken coming over, looking like he might decide to go for the loot. He just died there, man. You need to know that the guy's shooting right there. Finally spots Meowth and is going to go ahead and get some cover there, but yeah, going to go down to America. America's still in it.
Half of these players will be progressing. Just 10 more kills until we know who will move on from this game to that $50,000 game on Sunday. Another fight is going to be going down right now. We can see that Blorn maybe got a shot in, going to trigger that 1v1, and it is tight here. Not much cover. We can see on the bottom portion of the screen, 3 players with some pretty decent cover. Meowth is located really well, but Sloth looks like he is going to actually challenge Impact Logan, running right through a few shots, going into that vehicle. When is he going to pop out, though? Biding his time just a little bit. Senshu going to be cut down by Poncho. Now it's Awaken TV looking for a fight of his own.
Yeah, Awaken looking to see if he can go ahead and find himself a safe space, get away. Sloth is out. It looks like he's going to go ahead and throw down a smoke nade to get a little bit extra cover. Doesn't get tagged. Opens up onto Frankie. Can't get the kill. YT Brand going to go down to Lazius with that assist from Meowth. And Sloth just taking shots at any vehicle that goes by. And this is something that you see happen in these types of safe zones. The guys with vehicles that aren't already in a position in trees or behind a rock are starting to try and drive around and just kind of hang out and bide time, but everybody else is just shooting vehicles. Everybody else is trying to avoid the one-on-one and just eat up vehicles and take those guys out, because we're at 16 left. 6 more go down and 10 are going to advance from this. So this is the crunch time here, and we're going to lose Ryan to America, and we've got Impact Logan getting lit up from the side from Samuel and Blorn.
Yeah, we also did see a little bit earlier Meowth just in this great position right now with these rocks, but there is some threats lurking behind him where he can't actually be safe from that cover. America did get that kill a little bit earlier, now is going to be cut down. 4 players will be going home. Frankie super low here. Sloth trying to move through that smoke and engage. Only 2 more players remain. Anyone who gets taken down here will not be going. 1 more spot does remain for that final match. And just like that, we see Meowth get eliminated by Lethal Jake. These players are going to be going on Sunday, now playing for glory.
Yeah, from here on out, everybody's making it on. Meowth unfortunately bubbling out, and we're going to lose Party Girl 420 and Lethal Jake here. Lethal Jake going down to Blorn, and he's the guy that ended up taking out Meowth. Lazius going down here, most likely in that flame, burns to death. Sloth now taken out by a grenade from Impact Logan. Poncho looks like he's trying to get some throwables out, a couple Molotovs, set himself a little wall so nobody can push into him, but Bloodshot is right inside the smoke with them. They are 6 meters apart. This is how effective the smoke nades are. Now, like, you literally cannot see him. He is right on top of him. We'll see if Poncho ends up seeing him. Bloodshot going to be able to come out. Footsteps going to give him away, possibly. Poncho goes back into the smoke. They still haven't located each other. Shots come out. Bloodshot going to take out Poncho right on the edge of the gas there and get away.
It looked like Bloodshot had the advantage there a little bit earlier than Poncho, maybe getting back into it, but still we will see Bloodshot coming out supreme in that fight, now trying to get that top placement. Already we do have our top 5, and we see Bloodshot, even after that fight, relatively healthy here and far away from a lot of the engagements, but getting pinched right now is going to be taken down. And just like that, we have our top 4. Xantrix rotating around. He has that rock position, very similar to what we actually did see from Meowth before Meowth was taken down. Impact Logan finding some far distant shots into Xantrix. Xantrix very low here, trying to heal up behind these rocks.
Yeah, all missing that last shot. Logan almost taking him out there. He barely gets away with his life. And we've got two guys fighting really closely here in these two campers. And we'll see if this ends up playing out. They're going to end up doing throwables. Sometimes you get to see one go through the window like that. Blorn going to be forced out of his camper, but he is going to go ahead and be able to run right back in.
Blorn's positioning has been incredible throughout the entire game. A lot of defensive plays coming out of Blorn, but now is the time that you're going to need to really test those shots. We can see Blorn is going to be one shot now onto his body armor. Xantrix doesn't have any body armor, though, already at 50% health as well. Helmet going to be the last line of defense here, but Blorn maybe actually seeing Fist in the Wind right now. Maybe opting to take this fight. Shots are going to come out from Fist in the Wind first. None of them are going to connect. We don't see that versus yet, so that's a big indicator that they are not engaged in the fight. Blorn still having one shot on that body armor. He has helmets inside of here as well, so he can maybe peek out just a little bit.
Gas stopping literally on his camper. There's just a little bit of the gas creeping into it, so Blorn barely safe right now. He's going to be forced out of there on the next one. So will Fist, as that safe zone's going to center, and they will both be forced off the edge of the gas into the open. So they either need to take this fight and eliminate one of each other now, or they're going to be in a really rough spot running in side by side, fighting each other while the other two get open shots on them for the next safe zone.
You can see right now, Impact Logan doesn't want to actually collapse in just yet. He just has free shots at people right now, trying to take those long-range shots right now, trying to pressure people out, trying to basically get a pinch play going here. Blorn doesn't want to move out of his vehicle either, and we do see Fist in the Wind also kind of trapped in that boogie. Whoever goes out first, it seems like they will fall, but as you mentioned, gas is going to be encroaching soon.
Yeah, and one of those players is going to have to move sooner. Blorn going to have to move a couple seconds sooner, and the shots are starting to come out. It looks like Fist got tagged a little bit there. From that angle, it looked like his health bar was missing just a little bit.
All four of these players will be playing on Sunday, but right now they are trying to go for that glory. Fist in the Wind and Blorn definitely engaged in the dance of death right now. It looks like Blorn may be the first to move out right now. He moves into that vehicle. He may be able to get away, but just like that, the shots are coming in from all angles. Everyone opening up onto Blorn. Blorn tries to move into the gas to escape, and this looks like he will just go down right now, but he sends out that car, gets out behind the tree. He is taken out by an incredible shot by Fist in the Wind. We have our top three. Impact Logan finally moving from his positioning. Now he has the rocks as cover. He also does have this Jeep. His body armor is going to be popped off, getting some serious shots into Fist in the Wind. Fist in the Wind does not have the body armor. He's able to get another one back on. He is bleeding out, though, right now. Impact Logan still hot in pursuit, going to get some shots into that cop car, getting some damage out. We are going to see, oh, just like that, Xantrix is taken out. Impact Logan is going to be still standing. Fist in the Wind as well. Who is going to be able to take this? Logan is up by quite a bit here, both of them. Just the rocks between them. Fist in the Wind trying to find a good position to collapse in, though.
So Logan is in the car healing up. Fist in the Wind doesn't realize this, so Fist is not getting any heals off while Logan's rolling heals, but he does get a couple shots into him. They're both down to one shot. Spray comes out, doesn't get it. Logan gets into the car. Fist in the Wind finds it, though, gets the shotgun kill, takes down game one of the qualifiers today. Props to all of them, though. Top 10 guys all going on to Sunday to compete for $50,000.
Hey, man, just for good measure, we see Fist in the Wind just reloading just in case there are any threats. But
just
like that,
in case somebody comes out of the gas at the end, you know you got to be ready for him.
Look at the face of your champion of the first game of the day. It was awesome to actually see the challengers play out. And also, we got to see a lot of familiar faces in this first game.
Yeah, ton of familiar faces. Impact Logan almost taking down that game there at the end.